President Cyril Ramaphosa is racing against time to ensure that there is sufficient consensus around the proposed budget, which is set to be tabled on Wednesday. Now, there have been at least two special cabinet meetings and efforts through the clearinghouse mechanism to ensure that all 10 parties within the GNU agree on how to salvage the national fiscus. The leaked budget speech raised the ire of many South Africans after it emerged that value-added tax would be increased by 2 percentage points. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo has this report.
The stalemate between two of the biggest parties in the government of national unity, the ANC and DA, continues. They remain at loggerheads about how to finance debt within our national fiscus and over a proposed 2 percentage point VAT increase. The Democratic Alliance remains steadfast in its call that there should be absolutely no VAT hike and that it's disingenuous to say this increase would be to fund the social relief of distress grants because this would have already been budgeted for.
If the minister starts the process with a budget speech that includes these VAT hikes, then of course the parliamentary process will have to unfold for the VAT increases that he would have in mind, if he did have that in mind for Wednesday. Bills would have to pass through Parliament over the next 2 to 3 months. And of course, with 39% of the vote, the ANC will be hard-pressed to get that through Parliament.
What also appears to add to Finance Minister Ngcobo's headache is the lack of full support from his party, the ANC. He has, however, denied that there are any cleavages.
There's no division in the ANC on fiscal policy at all. The fact that there may be a division on a number or one thing, it does not mean a division from strategic thrust. What is that strategic thrust? The strategic thrust, we must make sure that we, as the ANC, make sure that the things that affect our poor people are properly funded. On that strategic thrust and the fiscal policy in that direction, there's no dispute.
Another GNU partner, Rise Mzansi, says it was irresponsible, childish and opportunistic to leak the budget, which has ultimately reduced an important conversation around the public purse of over 2 trillion rand to one issue around the VAT hike, which only constitutes around 30 billion rand. Party leader Songezo Zibi says they would prefer a reprioritization of funds, but borrowing more money is out of the question.
I think some of the expenditure items here is whether PRASA is going to get an allocation to get more trains on the rails, for instance. There is circa 19 billion therein. So what I'm trying to say is we have to make some tough choices. What we cannot do is to believe that there are choices all over. And I think the cabinet needs to look at areas where it's going to cut spending so that people don't need to pay VAT. But that comes with consequences.
The FF Plus says a VAT hike is unsustainable in the long term and efforts should rather be put into reducing bloated public spending.
It will hurt, especially the poor. Taxpayers are overburdened, people are impoverished, and we need to get the economy going. Tax increases will create a situation where there's less economic activity.
The Good Party agrees.
First of all, improving the capacity of SARS to collect tax revenue that is not being collected, which the Commissioner for SARS has already indicated is between 350 billion and 400 billion rand. The SARS Commission has also said, based on modelling, that there's probably another 400 billion rand that could be paid to the fiscus if there was a more effective SARS operation.
President Cyril Ramaphosa held a series of meetings with some of the GNU partners over the weekend and will continue with the engagements until consensus is reached. There'll also be a cabinet meeting on Wednesday before Ngcobo takes to the podium. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ziyanda Ngcobo in Johannesburg.